Welcome, adjudicators, to another episode of Disputed, where this week we will not have two fictional characters battling on the outcome, but still everything is disputed.
I dispute that.
The defense rests.
All right. Hey, who are you?
I am Demond, father of two, husband of one, and the squiggy of this here podcast.
All right. Well, thanks, Amand. And welcome, adjudicators. I'm Dean. I am the Lenny of the show, or Michael McKeon. You know, I like it, all the stuff he's done. So anyway, you can find me on many podcasts, and so many I've lost count. You can go over to podscure.com to check them out if you like. You'll find all the ones on the Podscure Podcast Network right there. So including this one, you'll find The Wandering Type, which is my Jack Reacher podcast. You will find How Are You Now, which is my Letterkenny podcast. You will find Podscure, which is my just random silly podcast, and The Boondocks, which actually is probably going to be going away very soon. It is going to go. I mean, because there's nothing beyond the fourth season, and one that's not mine, but is on our network is Armbar Audio, which is an awesome wrestling podcast by two good buddies, Tim and John. And I suggest you go if you're into the wrestling, go check them out. They don't cover like the big ones. They love all the indie wrestling. So that's their thing. So we love those guys. And
Yay!
you're on a podcast or two as well, aren't you?
I'm on a podcast or two. Damon does, where I do the six questions, where the same six questions can tell a unique story. And I literally just dropped a new episode about 5 minutes ago because I forgot to post date it yesterday. So it is an interview with Percival Constantine, who is the host of Superhero Cinephiles, which is a dope podcast.
That sounds like a superhero name.
It's a podcast about superhero movies. It's pretty cool.
Well, he's got the right name for it then.
Yes. And then I am also the producer, kinda co-host of In the Stack, the Library podcast, which is sponsored by the local library here in Jeffersonville, where we cover all kinds of things crazy around here in Southern Indiana. And I have a couple other projects in the works, but I don't want to say anything until they're actually out.
Motherfucker.
And if you paid it, that's called an Easter egg or a hint. I'm not really sure how that works.
Well, so today didn't work in our favor so much as far as having a dispute. Our buddy Ben, who hopefully you saw on the Amos Burton versus Atomic Blonde Lorraine Broughton dispute, and won that one. Ben is not well. They also a couple of days ago broke their collarbone, and along with being not well as they are in the hospital for a bit. So we want to send Ben all of the well wishes that we can, and so if you're on Twitter, at probably a parent is their is what they are on Twitter, them and their wife. And if you want to, if you're out there, send them some well wishes, let them know that you're thinking about them and stuff. So
sending all the love and light that you possibly can, because everybody's going through it, man. Everybody, if you're going through it, know that you're not alone, no matter how tough it is. Not that I can say I can sympathize no, I have any clue what's going on in your life, but if it's tough, we all know something at least about it. So whatever you're going through, take care of yourself the best you can, however you need to do. So yeah.
Very, very true. So they were so, and Acadia Einstein, who's been on the show before, was going to dispute them. So the dispute was, if I'm assuming if you're already on our YouTube or anyway, it was going to be Jack Reacher from mostly from the Amazon Prime show versus Rama from the Raid movie franchise, which I think there are only two. I know there was a third one in the work at one point in time, but that one's not happening anymore. Anyway, so Acadia was going to advocate for Reacher, and Ben was going to advocate for Rama. And it would have been. I'm hoping that everything will still turn out. But what we've done is we've moved that to the end of the bracket schedule. So what it was going to end on Johnny Lawrence versus Wayne from Letterkenny. Well, after that one happens 2 weeks later, will be Reacher versus Rama, and we hope Ben will be back for it. And we hope he'll be back for they'll be back for the for whoever Amos Burton is supposed to fight next. So, but I think we're going to find that out on this episode, because we're going to have our first knowledge of who our round 2 matchup is. So, and speaking of the results from last episodes, we did much better than that dispute than the one prior. And we were not doing so well. We weren't getting a lot of votes, and I think some of that may have been issues on the website. I can't say for sure. I did a lot of updating to that, but I said we put a lot of work into this show, and it's because we love it that we do this. And but you know, it's kind of hard to do it when you're talking to a wall sometimes. And so I said, I need to see at least 5 viewers and 25 votes to keep this going, for me to feel encouraged that somebody's, liking what we do. And that happened. So we got 3 or 4 viewers here. We got some on Twitch when we were live. So we had some folks who, I don't know if we had anybody who was asking questions last time, but we did have viewers. I saw them. And we really appreciate the folks who came out to watch, and we're going to keep doing it. My plan is to especially get through this first round. We're going to reevaluate in between, but I think we're on the right trajectory, wouldn't you say?
Yes. You're gonna hit bumps in the road, and we just have to figure out different ways to get this in front of people, because the show's dope. The concept is dope. Everybody I've talked to, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" I'm like, "Of course it is.
Go watch it.
Of course it is. So come vote."
Seriously, figure it out. So anyway, it was a really good episode, and well, let's see how that turned out. And this is going to be similar to the Burton one, because women can't fight the men in the WWE 2K. So
we're going to see a lot of me getting beat up.
We're going to see what's going on here. So let me bring this up. Our favorite arena. There's
the world famous disputed arena. Man, if you can't if you're on the podcast, you have to come up to the YouTube.
There we are.
We got yellow belt. Oh, that's fantastic. We got disputed keys. Oh, you don't want that smoke.
Oh,
if you do. Oh, leg trap. Oh, of course I took a kick in the face. Wait,
now what's this move?
I don't know what they got. Wait. Oh no! Taking a fly drop kick. Nice little suplex by. Kick in the face. Dang, flying axe handle. Macho Man style. Oh,
what the heck is that one?
It's called a back.
Oh, he got both of us. He got you with an elbow and me with a fist.
The Steel Sunrise. Oh, that looks painful.
Ooh.
Oh, nice knee.
Damn.
Good job taking that.
And our victor,
Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. The Bride.
Look at that butt, though, man. Damn.
It hadn't been that long.
Damn. Man, but yeah, again, first, let's again loads and loads of gratitude to Keith and Heather Mackey for making these awesome characters and putting them on display for us. They are
cool.
huge supporters of the show. We love them. Go find them on Twitter at Heather Mackey MAKI1 or on Instagram at SOL Freedom 10 and see all the stuff that they got out there. They're really good, really good people. So
they're really good at getting the likeness down for all the characters. Like they've been on point for all of them. I'm just
they've done all the I don't know if they've got them all for the new version because they were working on WWE 2K. Now they're on 2K22. But they had on the prior one like almost all the characters from Letterkenny.
Oh, which that's awesome.
That's how I met them. So yeah, they are awesome folks. Love them. And they if they keep cranking these out, we're going to keep playing them. So they gave you a few inches though on there. So you're almost as tall as me.
Yeah, so that's they say the camera adds 20 pounds. It obviously adds like 6 inches as well.
Or maybe they shrunk me. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Who knows?
Yeah,
we can go with that.
I'd like to pretend like I could reach the top shelf at some point, you know.
I'm the one around this house who always has to do it. Everybody in my house is short.
I'm the tallest person in my house.
Oh, God.
I know people who are taller than my family tree, bro. It's just what it is. I love it.
Oh man. Anyway, Beatrix Kiddo, as always, was on a mission, and it's like this is Kill Bill 3, man. She held the lead firmly in her clutches the entire way. Ended up with 72% of the vote to Ting's 28%. So, thoughts on that, Demond?
There's a part of me that's not surprised it was that lopsided, to be fair, because Ong Bak was popular, at least in my circles, in its day, but it does. I mean, Quentin Tarantino has, he's doing some things.
Ong Bak is very niche for the folks who are into martial arts. I mean, I like martial arts movies, and I hadn't even heard of that one. So
the stunts are fantastic. Like, there's
without a doubt.
Have you seen any of it? There's a thing he does. There's a thing he does in the movie. One, he like hurdles cars. Like he's running down the street and hurdles cars.
I did not see that. I mean, I did when I created all my clips and stuff. I took mostly just fight scenes. So. So I wasn't really paying attention as I was like scrubbing through the video trying to find the right clip. So I didn't look at anything that really wasn't fights.
He's an updated, like a newer Thai version of Jackie Chan almost. Like some of the stunts he does, like there's a chase scene where there's inexplicably these two dudes carrying a wreath across the street that is that's fully barbed wire.
Oh Jesus.
Instead of like a Christmas wreath, and he runs and he jumps through it, but he doesn't jump through it head first. He jumps through it head and hands and feet first. And they show the camera shot. They show him doing it like from 2 or 3 different angles.
So he actually did that.
Yeah, so he actually did it. It's really good just to see like the incredible things that the incredible stunts that he can do. I'm honestly surprised he hasn't. Tony Jaa, yes.
Yeah.
I am honestly surprised that he hasn't had like even bit parts in movies recently. I'm dumbfounded by it, to be honest.
I mean, I see that the copy I had, I think was I don't know if it was overdubbed or what it was. I don't think he was and he was speaking English. So I mean, does he speak English?
That I don't know, because the movie was in oh boy, I don't know what they speak in Thailand, but it was in his native language. Is it just Thai?
Yeah.
But it was originally done in Thai. But I thought they did an American movie. Was The Protector American? Maybe not. Maybe he just hasn't had one over here. Maybe he just hasn't had an English speaking role yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I will have to investigate.
Tony Josh, learn to speak English so you can come over here and make a bunch of money.
Exactly. And we'll spend it.
Yes. And then there's Uma Thurman.
Uma.
Let me be your Uma.
So with Beatrix's victory, she's going to be fighting Amos Burton next. So this is going to be our first second round matchup that we know of.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's and that's going to be September 15th. So I'm looking forward to that one. That should be a very interesting one because two very different styles.
The debate on that one's going to be interesting for sure. Man. So Beatrix Kiddo is the first higher seed to win since we started this thing. Because Kato was the 9 seed, then Amos was what, 13? I don't have the
I'm
bracket in front of me.
now. Amos was 12, and Lorraine was 5, and then Ting was 13. Beatrix was 4.
And then it was McCall, Robert McCall.
Robert McCall. Let's see, where the heck was it? It's over here. Yeah. Well, that one was pretty close. I mean, as far as seeding was concerned, Robert McCall was 10. Luke Hobbs was 7.
And then Jason, I was surprised Jason Bourne was the lower seed against Frank Martin. I was surprised by that.
I was
surprised by that.
I mean, I would have seeded that more in favor of Jason Bourne for sure. Not drastically so, but definitely more in favor.
Yeah.
Maybe just, if they were, they could have been the 9 and 8. They could have been this, I think that's 9 and 8. That would have been the Cato Walker one because I don't think Cato and Walker are anywhere evenly matched. Cato was 9. I think the only reason Cato was 9 is because nobody really knew Cato.
Yeah, I think that was a voting thing that kind of happened.
Yeah. So, but so the bracket as we have it. So just going through what we've got so far, we've got Cato beat Walker Texas Ranger. Amos Burton beat Lorraine Broughton. And now we've got Beatrix Kiddo over Ting. Then we had Robert McCall, who beat Luke Hobbs. And then Jason Bourne, who beat Frank Martin, the transporter. So the next one, which is in 2 weeks from now, will be Assam versus John Wick. And that one should be, I mean, I know there's not a lot of people who know Warrior, but in my mind, Assam is a very fucking good fighter. I mean, if you've watched Warrior, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on HBO. HBO's picked it up. It was on Cinemax starting off season 1 and 2. Then when COVID hit, they all kind of shut down, and HBO Max brought the series over to it, and it got so many people watching it that they set it up for season 3, and now next month they're going to start production on season 3.
Yay!
Yeah. So that will be a very interesting one. So man, John Wick. I mean, the way I see it turning out is John Wick will probably win. John Wick's got a lot more name recognition, and I mean, not that he has any more fighting time. It's just that he's got a lot more name recognition, which that's going to mean John Wick versus Robert McCall. And that would be a tough one. I mean, according to his backstory, John Wick does have a vast amount of martial arts training. So, without weapons. So, as does Robert McCall. So, the question is, they're both basically the same guy, except one man's an assassin and the other is a former CIA agent, basically. So to me, that's a tough call.
That's going to be one of those. I wonder how. I'm curious to see how name recognition goes. How far name recognition carries some of these characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that because I think that would if we get John Wick, Robert McCall, which I think the top 4 seeds are going to win, but that's just my guess. But Beatrix Kiddo was the only one I was questionable about. But
Yeah.
I think John Wick with name recognition will win. Reacher will probably win. Just the size of Jack Reacher is going to be very interesting to see if anybody can give a solid reason on how to overcome that. Because
the only one size wise who was even close was Luke Hobbs.
Yeah, and he's already gone.
Yep.
So it'll be. Although Amos is good sized guy though, isn't he?
He's about. I think he. I mean, I don't know about the books. If Ben was here, they could tell us. But anyway, but in the show, Amos is probably 5'10".
Oh, maybe? Really? Oh, that's still that's light heavyweight versus heavyweight now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I would say he's the same size as McCall or Wayne or Johnny Lawrence. I mean, he's average size fighter guy that you would see normally. I think height wise, I think John Wick is. I think he's like 6'2". Assam, not tall. He's probably somewhere between 5'8" and 5'10". Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne's not tall.
That's true. Jason Bourne versus Reacher. Yeah, that could be nasty, dude. That could be so nasty.
Yeah. Because they both fight very similarly. I mean, so as far as styles, Reacher and Bourne and Amos will almost always fight to the death. John Wick gives people a chance. I think. So I mean, if you're fucking with him or if you're coming at him, he's coming at you. If you've hurt his dog, his girlfriend, his car, you're done. You're done.
So much punishment. He takes more punishment than any other character that we've had on here, just about, except for maybe Beatrix Kiddo, which is kind of misogynist now that I say that. But
aside from what happened while she was out, she brought the pain. Lorraine Broughton also very much so, but she's not on a mission to kill unless she absolutely has to. If she has to, then she's going to bring it. So yeah, I think that's kind of what weighed more in Amos's favor there, is that Amos, he's going to fight. He's going to fight until the fight is fucking done. And if that means you're dead, then you're dead. And that's the same way with Reacher. And Reacher does give someone a chance to get to stop before they start. And you've seen that in the TV show and a couple of movies where there's and that's the thing about the other thing Reacher loves. He loves fighting multiple people at once. That's one of his. That's in the books. He likes fighting. He likes fighting multiple people. I think because he likes the challenge.
What kind of sociopath does that?
But he will fight. And that could be an interesting one to see. If at the end we get in, if there's a way we could do like a 3-person, like take the final 3 people, and let's just say we get all the way through, and we let's say Reacher wins, and then we pick the top 2 other fighters that we think really would give Reacher a fight, and did a dispute like that. What do you think?
We'd have to figure out the nuts and bolts of that, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it'd be a 3-person fight. Do they ever do that in wrestling, where they have 3 people fight instead of just 2?
Yeah, they're usually clusters. They're called triple threat matches, and for the most part, and it's like but those wind up being every man for themselves. So I think that would be a little different. What I thought you were talking about was like a handicap match. like two people against one. That's what I thought you were talking about. But
Oh,
you're talking about
well,
a three-way.
that's possible too. Yeah, we could that could happen. Yeah, tag team. Amos and Jason Bourne against Reacher.
That could be fun. Boy, I'm going to think on that. That sounds really cool. Prognostication time.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Because we've had a lot of upsets already.
Yeah.
Who do you think of the top 4 does not make it to the semifinals?
So the top 4.
And granted, we're guessing before the first round is up, but
well, yeah. I mean, so you mean so right now we've got in the second round we've got Kato, Amos, Beatrix, Jason, and McCall. Jason Bourne and McCall, Morden McCall. So that's 5. So and then so I think of who's left who does not make it. Though I love him, I don't think Assam's going to make it. So he won't make it to the quarterfinals. So that means John Wick versus Robert McCall. That's really tough. I honestly, I think Wick will take that. So that means McCall is out. And I'm a bit biased about Reacher over versus Rama. So I'm gonna say Reacher is gonna end up being Reacher versus Bourne. I think Reacher should take that. Burton versus Kiddo. I think that's gonna be, man, that's hard to say. Kiddo's got a lot of name recognition. Not that Amos doesn't, but there are lots of folks who love the books and the TV show. And Ben did a great debate for Amos. They've read all the books, seen all the TV show, and have perfect memory. So anything that they know, they're gonna bring it. I think in a straight up fight between Burton and Beatrix, because Beatrix isn't going to have the only thing really fight wise that she has to beat somebody is what she did against Bill. I mean, someone of Burton's size. Now, I will say that Kiddo does have the martial arts training. I know Amos he's a brawler. He's a street fighter. That's where he comes from.
She did pluck old girl's eye out.
She did.
So Amos could be wearing an eye patch in the finals.
It could be. I think that one's for me. That one's a hard one. Because going off of name recognition alone, I would say Kiddo. But the actual fight, if I think if it took place, Burton's not backing off, and he's going to fight with every ounce that he has. I know Beatrix will as well, but he's got a lot more brute strength than she has. So I personally think it goes to Burton. So that means Kiddo's out in that case. Now, because we are who we are, and I'm part of this network, and I run a Letterkenny podcast. I mean, Wayne is the number 1 seed for a reason, because he's got a lot of name recognition on this show as well as my other podcasts, and and who's going to be arguing for Wayne is Awesome, who knows more about Wayne than anybody else in the world, than I'm sure probably even more than Kiso maybe. So that's not to say that Johnny Lawrence doesn't have name recognition. Their Cobra Kai show on Netflix is doing gangbusters from what I understand.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so silly. It's so good. It's so silly. I love it.
But, Wayne's fought, the guys who are martial artists before, the MMA guys, and he's taken them on and won. The only time Wayne has ever been potentially out in a fight was the big scrap on the res, and Alistair Orson Westwood Yates, the biggest D-gen came out there, and he and Wayne were fighting, and he almost had Wayne until Derry came up and smashed a beer bottle on the back of his head. So I don't know how that would have turned out. It's hard to say. But yeah, I think just because of us and being on the network we're on, and the amount of Letterkenny fans and Shoresy fans that we have, we're probably going to see Wayne in that. So Wayne versus Kato. I mean, again, I'm gonna have to go with name recognition on that. So that means Kato is out. So we're looking at Wayne versus Amos in the semifinals, and we're looking at Reacher versus Wick on the other side.
If everything goes the way you said, that's gonna be a monster semifinal.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a monster semifinal. That's because honestly, I could, depending, honestly, name recognition. This is my humble opinion. Name recognition is the only thing that gets Wayne past Kato, in my opinion.
I don't doubt that. Yeah,
without home field advantage, like on the show, as well as if they fought in Letterkenny. Yeah. If they fought in Letterkenny, I'm like, I don't know, Kato. I don't know if Kato can handle that Canadian snow.
Is that another name for Wayne's right hook? The Canadian snow.
Well done.
So how do you see it turning out? How much differently from mine?
Similar, honestly, very similar. I think all four make it to the quarterfinals. And I don't see, maybe the only one I could see possibly being flipped is Jason Bourne and Reacher, because of they both have big name value. You know what I mean? As far as like the real life logistics. Because honestly, if this was if we had as we have a bigger fan base, I don't think Wayne's a number one seed, but I also don't think he goes out in the first round either. You know what I'm saying? I think Wayne comes down to earth some, and some of the other, and like this all shifts around. But dealing with the real life that we have right now, the biggest, I think the tightest quarterfinal, assuming Jack Reacher beats Rama, will be Jason Bourne versus Reacher, just because they're so similar and very proficient. The fact that Reacher likes to fight more than one dude, which is something I didn't know.
and he loves breaking bones.
And Reacher's a sociopath. That's a problem.
His thing is he wants to get the fight over with. So, and for those, especially for those who are up to par for him, generally speaking, and especially if because in the series, I don't know if you've watched the series yet. They threw in a scene which was kind of from the movies, but that didn't happen in the first book. But there's a scene in there where he's coming back to his motel, and there are these 5 drunk early 20-ish-year-old guys who've been sent there by this other wealthy shithead in the town to take care of him. And he's like at his door, and they've been drinking there for a bit, and he's at his door about to go in, and he goes, I don't have time for your bullshit. He says, just go away, you're drunk. And they say, we're trying to talk to you, and somebody throws a beer can at him, and there's just a slow turnaround. And he goes, you think you could take all of us? He goes, I'm just about to break four guys' hands. And then the guys, there's 5 of us. He goes, one of you has got to drive to the hospital.
Damn.
And so instead of killing them, he breaks the 4 guys' hands. The last guy's like, I could drive.
Wow.
And that was just like, then he shrugged it off. He goes into his motel room. One of the guy's fists he broke on his forehead, because as he's throwing a punch, he ducks.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh, that sounds terrible.
And that's just a light one, you know. So
Wow.
yeah, even so that was kind of that it was the first is the first Jack Reacher movie, I think. Or the second. Anyway, with Tom Cruise, and he kind of does the same thing where these guys are same thing. Guys have been sent to take care of him, and he he gets outside and he takes his coat off, sets it down, and he goes, "Now remember, you asked for this."
Damn.
Which is totally and that's the same thing. Like Reacher fighting in the bathroom at the prison. He's just washing his face. He goes, "Now, if you guys knew what was about to happen to you, you'd leave now." He goes, "Now I'm going to count to 3. 1, pow!" He leads with a headbutt, and then he just takes the rest of them out. He broke one guy's leg, gouged his thumb into one guy's eye, pushed him back into the wall, and beat another guy's head into that guy's head. and then he didn't mean to, but he killed one of the guys by kicking him in the throat, and it broke his esophagus, and he choked out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to watch that, to be honest.
Oh man, it's like, damn, man. Yeah, the prison part is great. So I mean, because that's the first really where you get to know what kind of person Jack Reacher is, because he's like he's in this cell with this guy who he's supposed to be trying to get information on, and there's I can't remember what they were called, the Red Bones or something like that. They're prison gang. This was the black prison gang coming after him, and they've been sent to they come inside and they see this guy that Reacher is supposed to be protecting. Reacher's just laying up on the top bunk, and they take the guy's shoes away and his glasses away and break the glasses, and then the main guy's like, he starts unbuttoning his pants. He goes, "Now there's one more thing I want from you." And then at that point, Reacher gets down. He goes, "I'm going to give," he goes, and the guy's like, "Look at this big redwood motherfucker over here." He goes, "What you want?" He goes, "I want you to leave." He says, I want you to leave my cell, or they're going to be carrying your fat ass out in a bucket."
Damn.
He's like, "Who do you think you're talking to?" He goes, I'm going to give you to 3. He gives him to 2. He leads with a headbutt, 3 elbows in the face. The guy is out.
Yeah, that's how that usually works.
So yeah, it's like, this is what you want to see when you're seeing a fighter that you impressed with. So and he's the perfect the guy. Alan Richardson is amazing as Reacher. I mean, if you go find Alan Richardson on his Instagram and stuff, he is a really upbeat guy, super nice. He's a very spiritual type of guy. I don't know if he's necessarily Christian or whatnot, but he has his Insta church that he does on Sundays, where basically he talks about uplifting and helping out and all that kind of stuff. So he's a good guy. And I was watching a video of his weekend before last. He was on a podcast and was watching the interview, and he's had some tough times as well. And so Alan has got a really interesting backstory. His real life is just, wow, I would not have expected any of that. So I go check him out. He's a good guy. But yeah, that show I'm looking for. They've renewed it for the second season. It's going to be based off of book 10, if I remember correctly. So they're jumping from book 1 to book 10, and I think they introduced characters that weren't in the original book into the first series, and that was, I think, kind of a setup for this. They wanted to Neely, who was his because he's a former MP, was his partner as he was an MP, and she got out and she was kind of doing some detective work on her own. So they kind of partnered up. So in the first season, and this next one is going to be them partnered up again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you were to if just on your own with just fighting prowess, How would you reseeded this? Because like you said, you wouldn't see Wayne as number one. Who would be your number one
of this 16?
Like, give me your top 4 if you can.
Oh gosh. You had me convinced with Reacher. I've seen I've seen a couple of John Wick movies, and I'd have a tough time arguing keeping him out of the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't know if either. I haven't seen Atomic Blonde, but Kiddo is based off of the Hong Kong like wuxia movies. So, boy, yeah, Reacher, John Wick. Oh boy, this is where it gets dicey. I don't know. Jason Bourne would be a lot higher. I don't know if he'd be top 4 or not, but he'd be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Not enough Luke Hobbs. Gosh, maybe Wayne would make the top 4.
Yeah, I mean,
just looking at
Luke.
it.
So Luke Hobbs, I mean, he's if you take Jack Reacher, if you take Luke Hobbs and give him lots of martial arts training, that's Luke Hobbs. I mean, that's Luke Hobbs with martial arts training is Reacher. So,
right.
That would have been, if Luke Hobbs had a lot of that kind of training, it would be a lot harder. I see Reacher, Wick. So just going on fighting prowess alone, Assam is really good. Amos is, like I said, he's just a straight up brawler. So I can't really put him in the top 4. I would probably put Ting and Rama. So Reacher, Wick, Ting, and Rama would probably be, fight prowess wise, my top 4. Maybe Assam could be swapped for for Ting, because Ting is really he's straight up Thai kickboxing, whereas Assam he's got kung fu and some other abilities as well. He's very smooth, and he's created by Bruce Lee. So so yeah, he's had to go against a lot of people, as it is. So I think Assam probably over Ting, because Ram is a hell of a fighter. Even when he's barehanded and having to fight people with weapons. But again, Reacher versus Ram, I think Reacher takes it, because Ram is a good fighter. Compared to Reacher, he's probably a foot shorter and 100 pounds less.
That honestly, that the question about that I would have if I don't know who I'd probably be asking about Reacher, but the question I would have if I was asking Rama is like, how does he overcome the size disadvantage?
Yeah,
because as a little person myself, if I have to get into it with somebody bigger than me, I have a plan in place.
Yeah, well, and there's there's 2 guys. So also, this is also in the Reacher show. There's 2 guys who are South American military, very well trained in their martial arts. There, 2 of them came after Reacher, and they both had guns. And had he had more time without the cops showing up, he probably would have killed them both. Because the guy's got their guns to his back, try to get them in their trunk. He punches the first guy, grabs the next guy. The trunk is open. He takes the guy next and slams his arm into the in the trunk, and then proceeds to have a knife fight with the other guy who he first punched. And he's got them both pinned, and then the cops show up and they all run off.
Yeah, he got shot.
Well, the reason he didn't get shot, because that was part of it, is he goes, now the smart move would have been to shoot me, but you haven't shot me yet, so that means somebody's telling you that they want me back. So
like, as soon as he says some shit like that, it's like, if you're that brave, pop, shoot him in his ass.
Because he said, because when I go to make my move, you're gonna hesitate. And he says, and you know what Cato says about those who hesitate? and then he punches the dude.
Oh, El Terrible.
But he
So,
does end up killing those guys at the end. So
there's that. So we've got one matchup, one quarterfinal match set up with Beatrix Kiddo versus Amos, and then we'll have our next one. We'll have
Assam versus John Wick.
Oh, that's next. That's the next Assam versus John Wick, and the winner will get Robert McCall. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, McCall's a great fighter.
I love it.
But you also got to take the thing about McCall. Even though he's a great fighter, you also have to take his age into account because he is a retired person. He's I want to say he's supposed to be in his 60s. So him fighting someone like John Wick, who's in his 50s, and has a lot of training as himself, or Assam, either one, but they both have a lot of training. So that's I can't. I think John Wick takes Assam and McCall. That's how I see it anyway.
Probably. I kind of hope I'm wrong just so I can be surprised. I've been surprised a lot this so far. So I just want to. I always I used to follow the NCAA college basketball tournament, March Madness, and I always rooted for chaos. I was like, who's the lower seed? Go Middle Eastern Tennessee State Tech. Running Gophers.
A&M.
A&M. State
Tech, A&M State University.
Oh my right. Like I root for these little bitty ass schools. Like they have a school there, really? I'm like rooting for chaos, yay! Because usually it's the big schools at the end anyway, and I have a feeling that's what it's going to be right here. We've got a lot of chaos in this first round, and then it's going to kind of sort itself. Get yourself sorted out by the semifinals. I think by the semifinals we're going to have it'll be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 will be there. I'm almost willing to bet on it, and then once we get to there, that's where I think that's where it'll get interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know if Beatrix will, I think, maybe make the semifinals because it's, I don't know. It's, I think it's off of name recognition, but I think Amos would win that. But I don't think she makes it to the finals because I think whoever Wayne's fighting, Wayne, Kato, whoever it is going to beat him.
Yeah, I think so too. Any other? Do you have any other?
Do I have any other
anything?
Oh! Hang on, we got comments here. I didn't even see them.
What? Yay!
Oh yeah. So he says Wick is going to destroy.
Yeah, that Renee.
Yep. And he also says chaos is king.
We're in agreement.
Who do you think is going to win out, Renee? Overall, who do you? So Wick beats Assam. Does Wick beat McCall? Do you think he makes it all the way to the end? I think it's possible for sure.
He'd have to get through Reacher, bro.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, because there are no weapons here. So, y'all go watch Jack Reacher, read the books, go watch the show. I think they've even tamed him down a little bit in the show. So he does not suffer fools gladly. He's very even keeled all the time.
Which is way more dangerous.
Yeah, you never know because so often he's smiling at you right before he fucking knocks your ass out. He's very self-assured.
I don't understand it. He's a gigantic guy. It's just
okay, so yeah, because in the books, if you take Sherlock Holmes, mix him with a Luke Hobbs, and then who's the best fighter you've ever known? I mean, somebody with lots of martial arts training. So, yeah. Renee's saying he has to go Wick all the way. Favorite characters can't be beaten while down. Yeah, can't be. So yeah, I don't know. I think Reacher's size beats Wick because they're both skilled martial artists. Yeah, and like I said, Robert McCall, I think his age takes him out of that equation versus Wick. So I think Wick makes it for sure, up to at least the semifinals. But I can't see Wick taking Reacher. It's just the size difference, the martial arts knowledge. I mean, even if let's just say the martial arts knowledge is equal on both, Reacher then has size. And he can choke a motherfucker out with his bare hands, but with one hand, pretty much very easily. I mean, he's a size of a defensive end or a defensive tackle, depending upon what scheme you're playing.
The only, John Wick has that resilience, man. That's one dude he takes, like I mentioned it earlier, he takes a ton of punishment, of punishment, and he's fighting the best assassins in the world that he lives in.
Yeah.
So, that's Jack Reacher can dish it out. Can't Wick is Batman without a mask. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but Reacher's Superman.
Man, that's boy.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
I gotta say, if Reacher gets beat, I'll accept it, but I will be very bummed. But I'm gonna have my wandering type crowd, which is not huge right now, but there's lots of fans of Reacher. I'm gonna reach out to Lee Child, who wrote the books.
Wow, that'd be cool. That would be super cool.
Yeah, but yeah, if coming down to it, honestly, I think there's enough people who will vote for Wayne. It's gonna be Wayne versus Reacher at the end. So that's how I see it.
I am really curious to see how that goes if that's the case. I can't wait to see the WWE 2K rendering of it.
That'll be fun. It's fun. It's funny is Amos Burton will have now fought 2 women in a row.
Oh, she sure will. Woman beater.
Yeah.
He's a misogynist.
Well, he did kill his last girlfriend because because she was working for a bad guy and she wouldn't get away and she was standing in his way, so he killed her. Yep. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to these. So next episode will be after the new year. After the new year. Well, after July the 4th. So Independence Day, and after the Canada Day, also Jared Kiso's birthday, because of course, I mean, come on, Mr. Canada. But yeah, we will have also had our first rehearsal for our upcoming How Are You Now table read, because that's coming up. So we're doing that. So the 5th is when I'm doing a rehearsal, and then the week later, which is, keep me honest here, the 12th, we'll be doing the live read.
That is going to, I've read the script for that one. That is going to be fun. That's going to take, it usually takes us like an hour to do it anyway. We might be closer to an hour and a half with this one. We're going to have a full cast, like a full cast.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be,
there are 13 characters, if I remember correctly, in this episode. And this is a script nobody else has read before, aside from us. So written by the awesome David Mack, who has written for Star Trek. He's written for Deep Space Nine. He's written for a few of the new ones on the on Paramount. So the new shows that they've got out there. And he's created a security officer in one of his upcoming books named Lieutenant Kiso because he's a big Letterkenny fan. Oh, Renee says, I can't watch Wayne versus Reacher. I don't want to see Reacher go down like that. Oh man, and I'll say this again. I think, in to be honest, Wayne and Reacher would be perfect friends because they would never speak, aside from handing each other a beer.
Yeah, it'd be very quiet. It'd be the most boring conversation.
Beer. Yeah. Anyway, so I am very much looking forward to that. All what's coming up. It's super exciting. So so for those who are listening, watching, whatever, share us with your friends, share us with your enemies, or whoever. Just share us. That would be the most manly handshake after a fight ever happened.
It'll look like that meme where Arnold Schwarzenegger and the guy who played Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers, in Predator, where they shake hands in the big muscle fist. That's
yeah. This will be round 2 of that. Oh man. So yeah. So
tell 3 friends. Tell 3 friends. Put it in their phone. Say you have to check this out. Give them the link. Just 3 friends. No, you don't have to do 5. You don't have to do a bunch. 3 people that you like, that you think are interested in action movies. Just give it to those 3, and if they like it, make sure they vote, and have them come back here in 2 weeks, so we can have a John Wick versus Assam. I hope I didn't mess that up. Which is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Who the hell is Dylan, Renee? Who's Dylan? Bob Dylan? I don't know what you're talking about. That's what he's talking about. Dylan from Predator. That's I had to come back around to that. Like, what? I've moved on. So yeah. The man shake. The manly handshake. The shake quake.
Testosterone, 1980s. We're all on the gas.
Oh yeah. I think one other cool character that would have been interesting in having in this, it's new pop culture. It would have been Peace. God damn it! What the hell is his name? Peacemaker. Peacemaker.
Oh, John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah.
Peacemaker.
That would have been interesting to see. But anyway, I guess so let me see. What do I have anything else? What I need to bring up here? Yeah, I think that covers everything. Anyway, watch. Also, go check us out on our things that will be in our show notes here, and you will enjoy it. I guarantee it. Or your money back. So, folks, until next time,
I'm Damon.
I'm Dean. And remember,
everything is disputed.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We are now asking you to go vote for your champion. We want to thank our advocates for their amazing defense of their champions. And finally, we'd like to thank the musical artists who created the music that helps make our show so great. We've got Hard Fight by Tajirigis, Game Changer by Icolix, Fight Club by Evil Bear Boris, Fight Makes Right by Atake, and This Party Sucks by Done With Fish. They can be found on freemusicarchive.org or on artlist.io. See you next time.